Hi Aquarius, this is your Mid Jun 2019 reading. Aquarius, all the readings we have done this month, including this one, are focused on the eclipses that are about to happen in July. We are getting ready to receive those eclipses in the right way. The first eclipse, which is happening on 2nd of July, is happening in your house of career and health. It is about to initiate a new phase in our work environment, the way we connect with the people in our work environment, or bring about a shift in our work environment that is better suited to us. Along with that, we have focus coming on our health. Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we nurturing ourselves in the right way? That comes into focus with that eclipse. Eclipses bring about fated changes that bring us closer to our destiny, that bring us closer to the path we are supposed to walk. They make those minor changes, or sometimes the changes that we are not ready to make ourselves, in order for us to walk the path we were born to walk on. Along with those eclipses, there is an important aspect that is happening right now, which is Jupiter and Neptune are meeting each other in a hard aspect. This is their second meeting this year. They met for the first time in January. This is their second meeting. They'll meet for the third time in September. This is a 9-month birthing process of a new social acceptance of your creative talents, of your knowledge, of your talents that can earn you larger amount of resources in life. So we are looking at expanding our resources by creating the network that will help you get there, by creating the acceptance of your talents, by creating the acceptance of your uniqueness in some ways with a wider set of audience. You might have seen some amount of turnaround in that area, in my view, already. At least some ideation coming through on how we can turn that around, how we can expand our social influence, our fan base, our business network, or we see a way in how we can take more risk on our talents to create bigger wealth, bigger material resources, bigger vision of our life. This is not just about immediate money. This is about creating a legacy, leaving a vision, creating a vision of our life which is bigger than ourselves, which outlasts us. And we get this opportunity once in 12 or 13 years to create something like that. The thing is, this is happening at a very important moment in your life when your ruler is in your 12th house. Your ruler, Saturn, is about to come into your sign in 2020 to initiate a new phase in your life, which happens when we have Saturn, our ruler, in our sign once in 30 years. It sets the path of who we want to become, who we are. It sets a new identity for ourselves. But right now, you're in the process of figuring out who you want to become. Which path do you want to carry on? It is helping you clean house to some extent so you can make a commitment to the future that you actually want to live. There is a new rule book that is being created right now. New game, new rules, old habits, old way of dealing with people, old way of dealing with our own undoings to some extent, our own fears, our own psychological hang-ups, if I can call them, which is not letting us progress. Those are in process right now. Jupiter gives us growth. Jupiter gives us hope. Your hope and your expansion is in connecting with larger set of audience, in creating the right kind of social engagement, in teaching at a larger scale, in interacting with friends who give meaning to life, who give you the upliftment when you're not feeling so great about your life. Friends who give you, or the business network that gives you higher perspective, will help you give growth this year. The benefit or rewards that you get, they come from your supporters, from your business network supporters, from your friends, from your fans. Also, the inspiration of a bigger vision of your life, of bigger goals, come from these people. You do not have a shortage of social support when this happens. Even if you feel that you have shortage right now of social support, the key is to interact with people. Key is to make this right, make the right and powerful connections this year. getting yourself closer to the kind of people who you want to belong to, whose ideas and goals merge with you, is the key to success this year. Also, a positive belief in your vision, feeling supported somehow from within, expanding your circle of friends and the people who can make you feel and believe in that goal that you're going after. Seeing a new future, being enthusiastic about a new future. And if you're not feeling enthusiastic about a future, traveling, interacting with people who are different from you, who can infuse this enthusiasm in you, is the key to success this year. And that is the messaging that came across from the full moon that just happened on 17th of June as well, which we spoke about in a separate video. Now, this is where our growth is. But the challenge to this growth is coming from Neptune in your house of resources. We are redefining our own value. We are redefining our self confidence. We are redefining what kind of talents we derive value out of. We are redefining what kind of attachment we have to our resources. Because when Neptune is in our house of resources, we tend to get a little bit detached from money, which is the right way to go, because the end goal is to earn more self worth, earn more worth beyond material possessions during this period. Earning from creative ventures, from spiritual ways, from creative ventures such as which includes healing, for example, which includes getting people together in a positive fashion, encouraging people together in a positive fashion, in some photography kind of, creating a bit of larger than life vision for people through photography, through fantasy, through poetry, through certain creative ventures which are beyond day-to-day reality. Essentially, they create value for you, they create inspiration for you. So it is dissolving the old way possibly by which you used to make money, or at least it's getting you detached from an old source of income, because it wants you to create a more realistic self-worth, a self-worth that is based more on your talents, more on your inner spiritual strength, rather than seeking security from outside, from other people, from possessions. It wants us to detach from that, and it doesn't mean that we lose our possessions. That is, in fact, something we want to be careful about. Because sometimes Neptune, when it is strong, things that we sort of own, we feel like giving them up, which is great. We should, it's good practice to help those who need. But at the same time, we can set ourselves for redemption or rebirth by giving up our resources altogether. You want to be careful of going to extremes with money, with this aspect, which also means we can go to either extremes. Because money becomes a subject of confusion, dissatisfaction, or some amount of ups and downs here. We do not have boundaries with others when it comes to possessions when this happens, which means we can feel that we deserve other person's resources. That's one way of manifestation. So we can blame others for not having enough. I'm sorry to say that is one side of it. The other side of it is that we feel we should not have resources and we want to give up our resources to others. We want to help so much that we want to give up all our resources. You want to be careful of going into extremes with Neptune, because Neptune dissolves our perception of reality, because it wants us to be inspired. Creativity and lie have a very thin line. And when it comes to investment opportunities, when it comes to money, when it comes to certain investment ideas that are presented to you, you want to be careful about that. Because our outer security and our perception of outer security is being dissolved. Because only when that is done, you will take certain risk in your life. If we are too attached to material possessions, we may not take the risk that we need to take to go into the talents that we have not gone into before. So to some extent, our idea of how attached we need to be to material possessions is changing. and the way we earn money is changing as well. Neptune is a very spiritual, very inspirational, very creative planet. So, in line with its energy, it's normally suggested to earn money through creative ways, even if you are in a commercial profession. We need to somehow imbibe creativity into our day to day work. We need to imbibe spirituality in some ways in the way we do work in order for us to go in the direction of this planet. We want to have union of our inner values and worth with higher meaning, because Neptune guides us to walk with gods, not with mortals. So there is an upliftment. We feel a little bit uplifted when it comes to the area of possessions. You will find yourself taking the high road, taking even the detachment in some ways. But what happens is Neptune is teaching us another thing, which is to appreciate the gifts that we have been given. Not the material possessions that we are creating, but the natural gifts, the natural talents that from way beyond, from our ancestors, from the karma of our ancestors or the karma of our birth, we have been given. We are being taught to value our sensitivity, our ability to heal others, our ability to connect with others at a much deeper level, at an empathetic level, at an artistic level, our creative imagination, valuing those talents within us beyond material possessions that we create is what Neptune is trying to teach us. Now, that can, in some ways, conflict with our desire to expand our vision of life, create social acceptance, and create big wealth. That is where the challenge of this aspect is to merge the two. Merge the two in some ways, that in the way we are going out and making money, the way we are going out and creating social acceptance, we imbibe the qualities of Neptune, which is keeping a high road, keeping our eyes on our gifts, valuing them, using them when it comes to the way we earn money, connecting with those kind of people, connecting with the people who are creative, who are spiritual, who are maybe in some glamour industry even, because Neptune rules cinema, for example, which is a creative field. So connecting with people who are creative in nature, who are in that field, who can help us get a bigger vision of our life beyond our current reality. So that is an important aspect. It is a 9-month process of giving birth to a bigger vision of your life, which needs to be based on something beyond material possessions. This is going to give results on 21st of September in my view, when these two planets meet for the third and the last time, because their meeting 3 times is like a birthing process. The first time they meet, they met on 13th of January, that is when the seeding of a new idea happens. A new idea is seeded on what you want to become, how you want to be socially accepted, what kind of ideas do you want to make bigger than life, which will outlast you. What is your vision in life? This is not about what's happening this year. This is your larger vision of life which is being expanded. So that is the seeding process. Now is the second meeting, which is a gestation period. We grow it, we realize that some of the things need to be changed in that vision, or our approach needs to be changed. Certain realities come to light as well on what's realistic and what's not. And then we change, we shift the way we are acting, the kind of people we are connecting with, how we are connecting with them. And then the third meeting is on 21st of September, which is the birthing period. We give birth to this new reality. You may be launching something in September at larger scale. You might be creating social acceptance of your creative ventures in some way. You might be going big in some ways when it comes to your big wealth ideas. So that is the birthing process in September, which we are working towards now. So that is what's happening in this aspect. The eclipses that are happening, they are happening in your day-to-day routines, in bringing order to life. There is something that needs to be changed in our day-to-day routines, the way we connect with our work environment, the way we connect with our co-workers, to enable all of this. The first eclipse that is happening in that house for you. It is some amount of karmic impact which comes through either a coworker change or a work environment change, or you realizing something in your connectivity with your work environment that needs to shift, which is very karmic recognition of that. And that change brings about a massive change in the path you're following. The recommendations that I have, the road to success in my view, of how to receive those eclipses well, is a softer expression needs to be made part of our daily routine, which includes your health, your self talk, your treatment of your body, a softer expression, being good to ourselves. Because Cancer, where this eclipse is happening, is a mother sign. It is a nurturing sign, nurturing our body in the right way. But more importantly, our immediate environment needs to be more nurturing. And if your current environment is not like that, this eclipse will prompt you to change that. We'll have to let go some amount of control that we have in our life. Because if something is not working out for your self-care, something is not working out in terms of you following your path, we have to let go control of that situation and possibly that place of work and shift that. But this eclipse gives us something. It gives us a new opportunity. It gives us an indication of how we can change that. Compassion with coworkers, getting it right with them, be having a caring, nurturing working environment for you, you protecting your team and your team protecting you. That kind of work environment is your road to success right now. And that can come from bringing down some amount of boundaries, you acknowledging that you need your team, you asking for support, you accepting that there are certain matters in which we need to dissolve our ego, which is not normally an issue for you, and asking for camaraderie, asking for support. A close knit family at work is your road to success. But the fears of some sort of authority, fears of losing authority, fears of not being looked at as professional in some way by doing this, bringing emotions to work thing, that fear needs to be released. Rules cannot be made an excuse anymore for you to merge more deeply with your work environment. To do a work that lets you be compassionate, that lets you emote, that lets you express your emotions openly. The rules of a workplace cannot stop that, or if you're in that kind of workplace, it is possibly not your road to success in my view. So that is my guidance for the eclipse that is about to come on 2nd of July, which is happening at 10 degree of Cancer. It will have an impact on the most on people born around 31st of January. If you're a Aquarius sun, but more likely this will affect Aquarius rising. This overall reading is more relevant for Aquarius rising, but can also be felt by Aquarius sun and moon, but at a subtle level. This may not be the easiest of the eclipses, even though the eclipse itself is not a difficult one. But for you, there is some amount of compromise, some amount of adjustment, some amount of letting go of our hold on the current situation. Releasing a control on that situation might be required for things to sort of take their course. But it is something that is very much required before your full moon happens next month. End of July, we have a new moon, a new start in your area of contract, and then we have a full moon in your sign in August. So your critical axis will get activated along with these eclipses. In fact, from 26th of this month itself, we will have Mercury, the planet of communication, move into your house of partnerships. So there might be some talks initiating from now, which will go back and forth in terms of your relationship, one-on-one relationship. How do you connect with other people on a one-on-one basis, or what kind of contract you currently are in? What kind of partnership you're currently in? It could be a personal partnership, but more likely this is a business partnership. What kind of connections you have on a one-on-one basis with your clients, with your co-workers, with your business partner will undergo some back and forth during the month of July while these eclipses are happening, because we are perfecting how we feel when we relate with people on a one-on-one basis, and our skill set to connect with people effectively on a one-on-one basis. What are our emotional responses when there are certain confusions, certain miscommunications? And those are possibilities when Mercury is retrograde in this area in July. Miscommunication with client, miscommunication with partner, which you want to be careful about during the month of July. But from now itself, from 20th June itself, you will find the discussions that are happening right now, especially from 26th of June. You want to be careful about those conversations, because there might be some possibility of a miss out which will require us to go back and forth. There is a possibility of us emotionally responding to a partner in a way that will need revision. I don't want you to miss on any life's lessons, because all of these retrograde, they grow us, they grow our skill set. But at the same time, you want to be a little bit careful in terms of going a little bit over the top when it comes to partnerships. This is especially true if you are a January born Aquarius. Early degree Aquarius will be most affected by it. You would also see this pan out in terms of your actions, because what happens is that on 1st of July, Mars moves you into your opposite sign as well. So we are very charged up to act. Overall, eclipses are very charged up period. So when we are going back and forth in a communication matter on partnership, but we are very eager to get it done. We feel almost challenged to get this thing through and get it right. We have all our forces on it. You want to be careful when it comes to your partnership, because you're trying to create a better way to connect with another person. But we can act a little bit out of our emotions at that time. The people you will find in July will not be very ready to listen. When Mercury is retrograde, people do not act in the right way when it comes to listening to each other. Especially emotions are not in check at that time. So that's what I have for now. The second eclipse that is happening on 16th of July is happening in your hidden house, in your subconscious house. It normally brings about certain secrets to open, certain things that are under the surface, that are hidden. They come out in the open. I'll speak about it in more detail in the July video as well, but you got to be ready for some amount of aha moment with that. More importantly, some fear, some old pattern is being permanently erased from your life, because it does not serve well in the new contract you're going after, new way of connecting with people you're going after, new way of connecting with your work environment that you're going after. So there is a karmic release, a cutting ties from an old way of being, which is holding you back, which is holding your power back. And that comes with that eclipse of 16th of July. All the eclipses take 2 or 3 months for their full effect to show up. But the eclipses, the immediate events happen within about 20 or 30 days of the eclipse. Even 10 days before that, it can happen. So we are already in the period of eclipse activation right now. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I'll see you in July now. Enjoy the Cancer season that we are in right now. One warning apart from this is for 27th of June. 27th of June, I spoke about it earlier as well, is a bit of a volatile day. You want to be a little bit careful in a work situation on 27th of June, which is this week, especially if you're a January born, in terms of past hurt, past identity hurt in some ways. Maybe somebody did not acknowledge your ideas, or your unique ideas were not accepted well in the past. Do not hold back what's happening right now on the basis of a past loss. The future cannot be created on the basis of past loss. So we have to just be careful on 26th and 27th to not hold the past as a guide to our future. Look at shifts, look at a new approach, look at a fresh approach. You will be taking a little bit of risk on your ideas on that day, in my view, especially if you're January born, and you should not stop yourself when that comes about. So good luck for the eclipses that are about to come, Aquarius. I'll speak to you in the July video now. Thank you.